myself in trouble. But
So once we get everything open, we'll just need to see what bank.
I'm curious what we're going to do with that property. That's the.
We're gonna have to.
Okay, well, it's 5:30. We're gonna go ahead and call our meeting to order. That'll give us enough time to do what we need to do and do something else after we get through doing this, I hope.
Amen.
With that being said, I'll say good evening to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well this evening. And I'll ask Supervisor Montgomery, if you don't mind, open
Sure.
it up for prayer.
Certainly will. If you will, bow your head. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for Oktibbeha County and the home it provides to each and every one of us here. Thank you for all the many blessings it's bestowed upon each and every one of us. Dear Lord, be with each and every one of these supervisors who are here tonight and as they leave and go about their business throughout the rest of the week and the month. Dear Lord, thank you for our military. Dear Lord, the Independence Day that's coming up, which has been so hard fought for this country. Dear Lord, thank you for the 4th of July and everything that it does mean for this country and its independence as well, for all the freedoms that we enjoy. Dear Lord, be with our state leaders, be with our national leaders, and be with each and every one that is here tonight as they go about their way. It's in all our many blessings and more to come. It's in your precious Son, Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Supervisor Montgomery. We hope that everybody has an agenda here. We'll try to follow our agenda as carefully as we can. First item on the agenda is citizen comment period. Are there any citizens here that are not on the agenda that would like to approach the board for up to 3 minutes? You may come forward and do so at this time. Seeing that there are none, we'll move on.
Before, Mr. President, before we move off into the agenda,
Yes, sir.
there's a item that was placed in our packet of an obvious attempt of the board president to change a board order without majority consent from the board. I think it needs to be addressed also by her own admission in an email that she sent today. This is not the first time that she's done this, and from reading the email that she sent, it seems as though she has changed some board orders in the past without majority consent from this board. I think it's been proven. I think the proof is right here. All you gotta do is read it. And I think it's such a serious action that she should voluntarily step down as board president. This is not, of my 4 terms serving on this board, and all the members that's been board president, not once have I ever or know of a board president changing board orders based on what they think they should read without coming before the board to get majority consent. Again, I think this is such a serious action that she should voluntarily step down as board president. We placed her as board president under the auspices that she would represent this board in a favorable manner. That this item in the packet obviously shows that she's not capable of doing that. So my recommendation to her would be that she step down as board president.
Anything else concerning that item? If not, Supervisor Howard, we thank you for those remarks and those comments. And what we will do, we will go to our next item on our agenda, which is Shell Lane concerns, Ms. Roxanne Sparks. Ms. Sparks here. Moving to the next item, Mr. Dudley Waldrop. Good evening,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Come on forward.
May I speak from my seat?
Yes, sir, you should.
Yes.
You may.
This is printed about a gate on Rock Hill Road. It's actually a gate on Waldrop Road. Waldrop Road, to my understanding, is a public road. The county has graded, comes down through there with repair equipment. Ford County has to, we've had a lot of storms here lately. And we've been out of power. And I'm disabled. And if my power is out, I can't see how to get about my house if I have to get up in the night. So I think this is, what if I put a gate down there in front of my house in Blockwater Road. I'd like to get a clear understanding of why that gate was erected and why it can't come down. If Full County has to go there in the middle of a storm and they can't get down there, or if somebody got hurt down there, 911, ambulance. I'd like it addressed, and I appreciate your concerns and whatever you can do to alleviate.
Okay. We certainly appreciate it. I don't think the board's aware of that because the board didn't take any action. There was a gate that was put up on Waldrop Road. There was a farmer that had some property down there, and he was having some issues with some vandalism and some unauthorized entry of his property. And so he asked me about putting a gate across that road, and so I told him that I didn't see a problem with putting a gate across the road. His thing to me was that he was gonna keep the gate open from 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening time. He's gonna close it at night because that's where he had problems with people unauthorized entry. And so he asked me about it. I told him go ahead and do it. My understanding was that all the property owners would have access to the gate down there, but of course, according to Mr. Waldrop, maybe something has changed. And so I guess what I need to do is go back and talk to that property owner to see exactly what the issues are and see if we can resolve that. The board didn't take any action on that, but
He is not a property owner.
he has.
He rents that land.
Okay, well, he rents the land down there, so he does have authorization to be down there. So what we need to do is just kind of go back and see if we can work that out. And I don't think the board, I don't recommend the board taking any action other than maybe you want to investigate it. And as far as I know, the gate should be open now, but I think it's closed in the evening time to prevent people from coming in and destroying other people's property. I think that was the whole intent of it. But I was not aware that it was gonna cause Mr. Waldrop a hardship. So what we'll do, we'll see if we can go back and see if we can find some kind of common ground to help solve the problem for everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We certainly appreciate you coming with that concern. All right, moving to the next item. Career Opportunity Programs. I think Ms. Patterson is gonna represent Career Opportunity. Good evening, ma'am. Come on.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Government trainers and other board supervisors right there. Okay, thank y'all. Make me feel like I'm a part of the board.
Absolutely.
I'll be very brief. On behalf of my executive director, Laura Marshall, and the rest of the Career Opportunity Agency, I am here to present to you one of our programs that we service our youth, the vulnerable populations every year. And that's with our summer youth hire program, summer program. And it's designed to, and it's our desire to serve the community in all capacities, and especially with our youth. Because we believe that the vulnerable populations, that if they're not offered other avenues, that sometimes they can get into other areas that can produce crime or more poverty. But it's our desire to help them to have, to empower them to where they can obtain work skills, educational skills, life skills. But that's what we want to do with our summer program, to give them another outlet and another opportunity for career opportunity to serve our community. And that's both in the city and in the county. And I did attach one of our brochures as well. If you didn't know anything about career opportunity, that'll give you a little bit more insight on some of the other services that we provide within our community. But primarily today, I'm here to speak on the summer youth program. That it's our desire to partner with the city and the county to employ at least 10 youth within the city or the county during the summer. And that can be, the ages start from 16 up. And we can employ aged adults as well through September, but we mostly want to gear towards the 16-year-olds. That's our target age, the 16 to 18-year-old high school students, to give them a little more money in their pockets for the school year, and then again to give them job skills that otherwise they would not be able to be a part of. So that's what we want to present to the board, that we would like to partner with you all with that initiative.
Okay. We certainly appreciate the opportunity. Board, you've heard the request. What's the pleasure of the board on this particular opportunity?
Motion for approval for assistant.
Been motioned by Supervisor Williams and second by Supervisor Montgomery that we participate, Supervisor Howard, that we participate in this program. Are there any more questions?
Yeah,
concerning the program?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment and I guess a congratulations, because I worked as a summer youth counselor back some time And some of those individuals that I placed on jobs, one of them I placed on a job at Mississippi State. She stayed on that job from high school and went all the way through college. Mississippi State paid for the education. She got a B.S, a master's degree, and she now retired from that same position that she was placed on in high school.
That's wonderful.
And I got other success stories too about individuals becoming veterinarian. They wanted to be a vet, and I placed them at the vet school, and that person became a vet.
That is awesome. And can I add one success story just recently from last year? We had one of our summer houses that was placed, I think, in the Chancery Clerk's office. And I think her first name is China, if I'm not mistaken. But she's still there today because she ended up being hired on as a city personnel. And she's doing a wonderful job now, from what we understand. So there are success stories with these summer hire programs.
Yeah.
We changed a lot.
A lot of success stories.
And then we thank you for
A
your
lot of
success
success
stories.
stories.
And I will pass it along to my executive director as well.
Got a question.
Yes, sir.
Is there a particular amount that you're asking from the board?
No, sir, no,
Okay,
Per Opportunity is gonna pay, we paid for their, I'm sorry, I can't, we paid for their.
Salaries and
Yeah, the
stuff.
salaries, thank you
Okay.
so much, it's been a long day, we paid for their
Doesn't count
salaries.
after 5:30.
Yes, sir, yeah, my brain like it goes dead after that time, but yes, sir, the salaries are paid fully by Per Opportunity, so it'll be no cost to the board of the city and things of that nature. Yes, sir.
agency.
Ms. Farmer has some remarks concerning that.
Yeah, Ms. Rhines is who I spoke with that contacted me, and what the question you asked was one of the things I wanted the board to know, is that the county is not having to pay a dime.
No.
Only supervise, assist with them getting the experience, and try to teach them and set them on the path for a career, be it politics or whatever it is. So I actually think this is a great opportunity for our youth, but I wanted the board and everyone to know that this is to no cost to the county.
Absolutely.
I would add.
Interested in it.
I'm
I'm interested in it.
Okay. I would add that I think that's something that the board should explore, having a summer job program for youth in the county. And so maybe, by next summer when school is out, we can maybe have something in place.
Okay, well, thank you, thank y'all so much, appreciate that.
You thought much about what type of positions that you would be considering in the county? I know you hadn't maybe formulated any ideas, but I've started thinking some about what type of placement would you be looking for?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But during the orientation, one of the questions that I was going to ask is, what are your future endeavors to the high school students? And based off of what they choose as fields that they want to go in, disciplines they want to go in the future, we try to find places where we can place them to where they can get the best experience, I guess, now that will help them later on if they decide to go in that particular discipline. So that's one of the questions that we ask during orientation, place them in the right places.
Any more questions, comments, criticisms? If not, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be known by the proper voting sign.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Ms. Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank y'all
Ms.
so much.
Pastor. You have a great evening.
You too, thank
Thank you
you.
for coming. All right. Mr. Philip Carter, Starr Rock Hall County Public Library System. Good evening, sir.
Sir, how are y'all?
Oh, everything's
Doing
great.
good.
Good
Evening.
Yes, sir.
I did not bring more paper for y'all to put in your already prodigious stacks of paperwork to lose. So Lois, it's so good to meet you in person. We've worked so much already together. I did bring some of my business cards, if you will pass those around so that y'all can have my information. So yes, I am very happy to be serving in my now third year. I realize that's impossible to believe as director of the Starr County Public Library System. 2020 was a challenging year to come on board as the director, as I got to be here 6 weeks before everything changed. I wanted to come at the last meeting. Y'all asked if I could come and tell y'all about some of the things we're doing at the library. That is something I want to do on the regular, and I have come to a previous meeting, and that is something I'm very happy to come and do anytime y'all would like to, or of course y'all are always welcome to come visit the library and come see some things going on, especially this summer as we have a lot of very exciting programming going on. Some of you may have seen we're in the middle of summer reading program. We had our kickoff event was very early June. We had over 1,000 attend our petting zoo that we had in our parking lot. We didn't expect 1,000. That is actually a record attendance for a library program at the library, for anything in our library system, and they've only been continuing since then. We haven't had 1,000 again, but we have had a couple of 500 and 600 attendance events at the library. So I'm going to talk to you a couple of things about things we're doing, things we're trying to do. Y'all do have, of course, have my budget request. I've already presented that to y'all. I won't go through that line by line. That's boring, and y'all can read that. Y'all don't need me to go through that. But I will give the good and the bad. I'm going to give the good and the bad. The good is we're very close to pre-COVID numbers for attendance and circulation. Actually, we're well ahead of 2020 fiscal year 2021 circulation by a large margin. Actually, we're already about 25% over, and we still got a quarter of the year to go. Attendance at programming is well over 11,000 so far this fiscal year, with 3 more months to go and another month of summer reading program. We're working with agencies in the community. Some of you may have seen we had our our inaugural fundraiser at the library, the Great Gatsby. We had over 120 attend that. We had multiple sponsors throughout the community. We raised cash value, we raised about $17,000, plus in kind, we crossed about $34,000 raised. Thanks to a lot of the newspapers, TV stations, we had a lot of in-kind donations of publicity. Restaurants in town donated food. Scotty's donated the wine for the event. It was a wonderful event. It was a great time. Live music. We plan to do it again next year. I hope to see you all there. It's a terrible weekend for Starkville because I realize that it usually is going to be right around Super Bulldog weekend, but it's also the Saturday of National Library Week, and I'm going to claim that over. So I love sports and I love Mississippi State, but I'm going to claim National Library Week before I claim Super Bulldog weekend. So sure hope folks will come out and talk with us at the library. So that's the good. Things are looking great. We're innovating, we're changing things, we're doing a lot of different programming, we're having a lot of different kinds of events. People are coming in. We have everything from, again, author events to last week we had a group out of Purvis, Mississippi bring, vultures and birds of prey to show the kids. And so in the library, we have a little of everything. The harder part is we are still, and that's what the funding request talks about, we are still a little underfunded. And that is absolutely no fault of both the county and the city. As I have brought to y'all funding concerns, y'all have absolutely answered the call every time, especially, I don't think that kind of communication happened before, to be quite frank. I don't think there was some communication about the role of the county and the city in funding our library system. When I got here, I was told by both funding authorities that they believed the state was our primary funding authority, and it's incorrect. The state provides about 15% of our funding. About 75% of it comes from the city of Starkville and Oktibbeha County. We're almost staffed at minimum state accreditation standards. We're close. We're not there yet. We're still short by about 2 full-time positions. Hopefully in the next couple of years, as part of that plan, we will get there. It's not a rush project. You have some stats in your handout that I gave you that show, and I can only give you stats from fiscal year 2020, as 2021 stats are not available to me yet. But as of 2020, we ranked, I think, 39th in the state in local funding per capita. That's out of 53. So we're funded at about, I don't have that handout in front of me, but you do. It's about $8 and some change per capita. The state average is about $14 per capita, local funding. So we're looking to get there. All of your support helps us do the things we're doing. We working very hard to make sure that we serve the entire county, the entire city. And I am here for questions and not to talk your ears off, which I've already done. So if y'all have any questions for me, updates, concerns, thoughts, ideas, want to come host a program at the library, I'm totally here for that.
Done a lot of good work.
Yeah.
We're
Very
working
detailed.
very hard.
Yeah.
I have a very different view than the prior director. The prior director was, and to no fault, it was a generation of the way things were done. She's a very in the walls type of library. I'm a very outside the walls type of library. It's very important that we be a part of this community, whereas I actually think we should be the center of what's going on in the community, because we are the one place that everyone comes. I tell people this all the time, and I will stand by it every day. Public libraries are the last bastion of democracy in America, because we are the only place left in American culture that you can come and just exist without the expectation of buying anything. We don't expect you to come spend money. Or you can just come sit in the air conditioner if you need to. It's hot, y'all. So, I'm open for any and all questions.
Well, we certainly appreciate all you do. I must apologize. I have not been inside the library lately, but I see a lot of good activity. I keep up with what's going on in the newspaper. I mean, it's just a valuable asset to have in the community.
Absolutely.
So we certainly appreciate everything you're doing. And the previous administrations that you're building off, you knew Ms. Hope.
She was wonderful. She did a lot of great things. She was there for 31 years. I will tell y'all, I will not be here for 31 years. I hope to retire well before 31 years. But I will be here for a very, very long time. Before I took this job, I had told my other friends in the library community that there was exactly one job in the state of Mississippi that I would take over the job I had before I came here, and that was to be the director of this library system. And so I'm very happy to be here. I'm happy to be building community with the wonderful people here in this community, because that's what we need to do. We come together as a community. It's the only way we're going to be stronger and do what we're doing. And I'm a big believer. I tell people all the time, I'm a bad librarian. I can't tell you what's on the bestseller list right now. I have no idea. I have no clue what James Patterson or John Grisham's newest book is. I got into libraries from a different angle. I'm a believer in community and economic development. In fact, I'm hoping, we'll see if I end up pursuing the PhD, but that's where my study and my belief is and where my strengths are, and that's what I believe the library can do. Because communities with strong public libraries typically also have strong public schools, have strong community support, and they just tend to be more affluent, stronger, more successful communities. And reading, as trite as it might be to say, studies have shown reading is the #1 predictor of lifelong success. And so building that love of reading early in children and in teens and in adults, that's our goal.
Definitely what caught the gear in my daughter. You know,
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
she came and checked 2 books out today. So
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have her.
yeah, she's reading.
Great.
That's what sparked her knowledge, I say. So
Awesome.
definitely a resource for sure. Thank you for laying out the different, stages that you're, like I said, brick by brick, not all at once.
Yeah,
Can't eat it
absolutely.
at once.
It was a big road. It was a big gap we're trying to make up, and there was no way we could do it in 1 year or even 2 years. I believe in laying long-term plans, even when things like COVID come along and derail them a little bit. We know where the long term is.
I do see, and if I'm seeing this correct, in your fiscal year 2022,
Sure.
that we will be a per capita of $10.14.
That may be the update. I may be
Yeah.
quoting the stat before.
Well, I'm just saying that way, if that be the case, then we would go from 41st to 32nd, 33rd. I know that's not #1, but
No,
But
I
instead-
have no expectations of
No,
us
yeah,
getting
yeah,
to
yeah.
#1, and that is also these are 2020 for those library systems. I won't know where their funding is for
yeah,
currently.
I got you.
So,
But,
but I did also give some comparisons for similar sized public libraries in the state, because there's not apples to apples. It's a very hard comparison if you're going to compare funding. You're going to compare activity. It's hard for us as Oktibbeha County to compare apples to Hancock County or Harrison County or even a Madison County. It's very difficult apples to apples there.
I got you.
But I'm a big believer. And it's the age old. I know, money. Y'all hear it all the time. But I'm a big believer that if I'm going to ask for it, I'm going to show you why, and I'm going to show you where we stand with other agencies doing the same kind of work we're doing.
As far as the foot traffic numbers, Give us a little indication about that.
Sure. I will give you an idea. So obviously in 2020, everything came to a screeching halt. And the statistics before 2019 were honestly best guesses. And so if you go back, and all of these statistics are available to the public for public libraries, they're on the state library's website, mlc.lib.ms.us, if you want to go back and look at them. But honestly, those numbers were best guesses because we didn't have door counters. We didn't have a good system in place for keeping those statistics up. So one of the first things I did when I got here was I got door counters at all 3 of our branches. I need to replace the ones in Sturgis. They're not working right, so we're clicking numbers there right now. But and then we had door counters installed in Starkville. And so I have a rough guess of where those numbers were for a few months pre-COVID. And they were hovering around that 10,000 plus per month visits. Right now we are sitting at about 6,000, 7,000 visits a month at Starkville Public. And that's adding in Maven and Sturgis, obviously much lower than much smaller libraries, but we are getting pretty heavy. That foot traffic is picking up, so we're getting much closer to pre-COVID numbers. Our circulation numbers are starting to outpace our pre-COVID numbers, so checking out of books has gone up considerably. And I have those. I can tell you, for example, library visits in 2021, we had, for the entire system, all 3 branches, we had 44,084 library visits in fiscal year 2021. As we stand today, with 3 months and a few days to go in fiscal year 2022, we're at almost 50,000 visits. So they're starting to come back to the level they were. So,
any more questions? If not, then what we need to do, I guess, is acknowledge this report and take it under advisement.
that's
So
it.
move.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Aye.
Yes.
All right.
Motion passes unanimously.
And I was gonna say, thank you for what you're doing, not only in Starkville, but in Maven and Sturgis as well, you know, because that outlying community, you know what I mean, sometimes they don't have the same opportunities people here do, so.
And it's a
Thank you
challenge.
for those 2 caveats.
And for summer reading, it was and still is, we're still growing into it. It was very important to me that the children of Maven and Sturgis and those communities get the same quality level of programming in those branches as we get in Starkville. We know that the majority of staff are here at Starkville Public Library. It's the biggest community. We have people from all throughout the county come to that library, but it is very important for those smaller communities to get that level of programming. So it's very important to me. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much.
Y'all have a great evening.
All right, you do the same. All right.
Can I make a comment about Sturgis?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, they are, if you follow them, they're having a lot of programs. Some of their things are different. They have quilting classes and different things like that, but their library is extremely active. They recently had a reptile show as well. So they're doing a lot of the things, and I know that same reptile show went to Maven, too.
It is, and the activity in Sturgis has picked up dramatically in reaction to that. We also have a really great Friends of the Library group there in Sturgis, and Mayor Leah Brown over there she's in the library all the time, so I'm very thankful to have her support and the town of Sturgis and the work they're doing. But yes, all y'all come to the library. If you've been last time you came to the library was pre-COVID or pre me getting there. Don't worry if you come in and everything's not where you remember it being. There's only one piece of furniture in that library that I haven't moved, and it's the circulation desk. So I'm excited to have y'all back.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Thank you for coming. Have a good evening. All right, moving right along. Miss Kristen Campanella Watson, Simp and Smack Agreement.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are y'all?
Yes, ma'am. Doing good.
I've got the 2 things. So I've got the state mutual aid compact. So what this is a agreement that we sign with the state during disasters so they can give us resources. We have to do this every 4 years. So it's just time to update. The last one we done was in 2018. So it is for board president and county attorney. So however you want to, and I'll just need the original.
Okay, can we get a motion second to approve that? Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning
Well,
that motion?
that is for us to provide assistance And of course, we get reimbursed for the
It
assistance that we be.
they can get equipment that
providing.
we have, other counties can request our equipment, but
Right.
then more importantly, we can get equipment from other
them-
places if we need it, yeah.
them too. So
But
I-
we
I-
can ask for it, that's what that's for.
I
yeah.
see where they take care of food accommodation
Yeah.
and housing
There's
accommodation.
two forms at the very back of that we would fill out requesting
Right.
those funds, yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Would it have to be declared a national emergency before this
No.
can go?
A
into
local
effect?
disaster that y'all sign those proclamations for, when we have something, no, but a local disaster.
Who made the motions for the?
I made the motion.
Montgomery and Howard.
All right, any more questions concerning the motion?
Kristen, do I have to sign this?
I don't believe so. I think that one's just for the attorney. Well, what's that say? Clerk of the, yeah, that's you.
All those in favor, let it be known by the proper voting sign. Aye.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
And I will get y'all that copies of that.
Thank you, Ms. Chris.
You're welcome. The second thing I have on here is the comprehensive emergency management plan. I do not have that with me tonight. This year is a full rewrite plan, so it was more detailed than I expected. But I'm gonna try to have it within the next couple of board meetings that y'all do. But I do have one thing that may not be on here. I had talked to Ms. Farmer about, we do field observations for 911 when they're new hire, and then we have to do them again every 3 years to get their recert hours. So we ride with fire law and medics, so we count that, we can get their time back through reimbursements through the state. So we do have during Telecommunicator Week, one of our helicopter agencies come in and visited with us, and they do ride-alongs as well. But I wanted to ask before I put somebody in a helicopter, would that cover, their county cover them as they ride? I mean, they do if they're in a vehicle with the trucks and the cars, but helicopter's a little bit different. So I wanted to get approval for that before I put them in a bird. They do make them sign a waiver, releasing all of their rights from it, the helicopter, so I just wanna make sure if we have somebody there and they drop, whatever, that we're covered. I mean, we don't wanna talk about it, but I mean, we have to prepare for it, that's literally my job, so.
It might happen.
Yeah, you never know, I just wanna make sure that this person would be covered if something
Gotta be
was to
prepared.
happen.
Who's riding in the helicopter? Is that
It would be our telecommunicators, our 911 operators.
You got something
I
exciting?
mean, if you're
they're
riding in an
very
ambulance or a
excited.
fire truck,
Same
then
thing.
They're very excited, yeah.
I
We
think
talked about that and I.
Yeah,
didn't know
I'm just
if
scared
it's-
about, I mean, but we can get their time reimbursed just like we do for riding in the fire trucks or the helicopter, ambulances or
Yeah.
I
police
think
cars.
it's part
but-
of their duty is of
Yeah.
what they're doing. They're going to be covered, but I
Well,
will
it puts
check
in
and make sure.
perspective,
But I'm
you know,
pretty sure
what
they're
they do,
covered.
so, yeah. Okay, that's what I wanted to ask. So
Part of
y'all
their
look
duty.
back And let me know before we put somebody else.
I mean, they riding with firemen, lights and sirens, or just riding around with them?
Yeah, they ride they're in the truck with them all the time.
So if they get a call, they're gonna stay in the
Yeah,
truck?
they do.
Well, I mean, it's an emergency vehicle or emergency, whatever you wanna call it. I don't see the difference.
And I mean,
really.
and we dispatch them just like we do fire, law, and med. We dispatch the helicopters to scenes too. So we have to give their coordinates out and give them the locations and everything. So it kind of puts perspective on both parts. They always come in and see what we do, but this is just one of those agencies we don't know what they do in the bird. So this will kind of put
Yeah,
all
put
that
in-
perspective. I would
If
suspect that I
we're
have
requiring
18,
them-
and all 18 are probably going to want to ride.
Oh, man.
At least half of them anyway.
I know with the first responders, when it comes to our handbook, they kind of fall in a different category. So what I would recommend is we put together some kind of policy or something, and then, bring it back to the board for.
When are they going to do this?
Whenever you tell me they can.
Yeah.
They've asked me every 2 weeks if I've asked yet.
We'll circle back on that.
Okay.
And I just need to make sure that.
Yeah, they won't do anything until y'all say it's
Okay.
good. That's all I have to know.
We certainly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Thank you. Y'all take care.
Yes, ma'am. Moving along to the next thing, Mr. Word, come on around.
The Sheriff's Department's requesting permission to apply for a JAG grant. It is for CSI equipment and flashlights for investigators.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the
Seat
motion?
didn't get out, did it?
All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Aye.
Howard.
Yes.
Motion passes
Howard
unanimously.
and Montgomery.
All right.
You have to do me.
Okay.
Road manager, equipment bid tabulation. Good evening, Mr. Bagley.
I brought that for you.
Okay, the bids came in within reason of what we expected. And so I'm gonna recommend to the board that we accept, the bid of Ingram Equipment Company for the crack sealer. We got two bids, one for $79,370 and one for $85,850. I'm gonna recommend we, accept Ingram for that one. And, we only got one bid for the ditcher head for secondary boom on tractors. It was $14,484. I'm gonna recommend that we accept that one. And also, the class 4 dump trucks came in at $92,000. And I'm gonna, recommend that we get those. And on the, I didn't say this, but on the ditcher head, I'm gonna recommend 3 of those.
Right.
And on the class 4 dump trucks, I'm gonna recommend, 3 of those.
Who are the dump trucks made by?
You know, I don't know if they're gonna be Ford or Chevrolet or what. Yeah, but, this, Burroughs Diesel is the same person that had our bids for the, furnishing our 10-wheeler trucks that we're supposed to get in September. So,
We heard the request from the roadman. It's a pleasure to board on the request.
I move we grant his request.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the motion?
One other thing you got down here, so that just the crack sealer delivery, guaranteeing that it would be delivered within that,
based on,
the
yeah.
days, that's the extra cost on that.
I don't know if that's a typo with that, number sign. I don't know why that's there.
Okay.
But
But that's
thinking-
just to say it's in so many days.
Yeah, I spoke with, what's his name? Blaylock, Mr. Blaylock.
Mark the ones that you accepted on mine so that I make sure we get your order right.
And to our understanding, that was the time, and he was supposed to have gotten back with me, but he didn't today.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Attorney.
Just mark the ones that we're accepting and make sure I'm getting you right.
Okay. It's gonna be 3.
Okay, good deal. Thank you.
Will this get you, as far as dump truck wise goes, will this get you pretty much up to par where you need to be?
It will, and these are like the 450s. So like our 450s, the crew cabs that the satellite crews ride around in, do cold mix and all. That's what these are.
Okay.
These aren't
Okay.
like. Right.
But they need that dump, they need that
Yeah,
capability. Makes them a lot more personal.
it does.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, let me know by the pro vote sign. Motion passes
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, sir. You have a good evening, Mr. Banks.
Thank you, Mr. Banks.
All right, moving right along to the next item. Chancery Clerk business. Ms. Livingston.
I don't have anything.
All right, next item of business, county business, administration, Ms. Farmer. Okay. Ms. Farmer has brought to my attention that we may need to consider going to executive session to discuss personnel issues.
I move that we, go into executive session to determine going into closed session.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Williams, that we determine whether there's a need for executive session. All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate vote sign.
But before y'all vote, I wanted to add, since we're gonna go in there, I've got to discuss the audit for